Welcome. We stand only a few days in front of Chag HaShavuos. A number of people recently have called Chag HaShavuos the most important holiday that we have. And the truth is they are probably onto something. After all, when we came out of Mitzrayim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told us, Tavdu nes Elokim al hahor hazeh. You'll come out of Mitzrayim, you will become a nation, and then you will serve God on that mountain, meaning that you will receive the Torah. So as a nation, certainly, as Reb Sadia Gaon famously says, that we are only a nation through the Torah that we have. But even for each individual Jew, it certainly can be argued that Shavuos is of utmost importance. There's a beautiful Gemara in Shabbos that tells a story of a goy that was walking outside a Jewish classroom. And inside they were learning Parshas Tetzaveh, and they were learning about the Big Day Kahuna. And the Rebbe was inside, and he was describing all the various garments which the Kohen wears. And he was very interested. And he comes into the classroom and he says to the Rebbe, who wears those clothing? He says, oh, the ones we just described, that's the high priest, the Kohen Gadol. So he says to himself, I want to wear those clothing. I want to be a high priest. So he runs to Hillel, the sage of the generation. And he says, I want to become a Kohen Gadol. I want to wear the clothing of the Kohen Gadol. Can you help me out? He says, yes. But first, if you're going to become a Kohen, you have to learn all about Judaism and all about what it means to be a Kohen and to be a Kohen Gadol. So therefore, go to the conversion class and we'll see. He's learning and he's learning and he's learning. And after some time, they come to a pasuk which talks about someone, a zor, someone who's not supposed to do the avodah in the Beis HaMikdash, doing the service. And the Torah says there that it's a capital offense, a zor hakorev yumas. He says to his Rebbe, who is that speaking about? The Rebbe says, even David Melech Yisrael. It could be someone the likes of King David. If he does the avodah, he's no Kohen. So this potential convert said to himself, if that is true of David Melech Yisrael, me, I'm just getting off the boat. I certainly can never become a Kohen. But then the Gemara seems to go on and we learn that he became a convert. It's a very funny situation over here. Such a person coming to Hillel and saying, I want to wear Big Day Kahuna, convert me. He sounds unbalanced. Why did Hillel not just send him packing? Get out of here. We push away potential converts. What did Hillel see in this fellow that had Hillel put him on the conversion track? He must have seen something special within him. And furthermore, isn't it absolutely strange? He started out, he wanted to wear Big Day Kahuna. And then he hears that he cannot be a Kohen, and he continues. Why did he continue? And what changed in his thinking? Why did it change? Why did he become a Jew? There's a very important comment that Rabbi Yaakov Melisa makes in his commentary on Megillas Rus. He's speaking about Rus, the great convert, but it's true of all converts. He says a convert has within him or her a nitzutz to kedusha, a spark of sanctity, a spark of holiness that wants to join the Jewish people. And within them, there is a drive that spark within them is trying to penetrate, is trying to come out, wants to bond with the Jewish people. Gets no rest until it does. This fellow had such a drive. Right before we received the Torah at Sinai, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to us, "Va'atem tiyu li mamleches kohanim v'goy kadosh." I'm not just giving you a law, but I am giving you a mission. You are to be a mamleches kohanim, a kingdom of priests, a kingdom of people who will set the stage, who will set the model godliness to the world. The Goy Kadosh, and a distinct people, a distinguished people. This Goy wanted to be part of our mission. He wanted to be a Kohen. He was a little confused. He was a little misunderstood. I should say misunderstanding. He thought he wanted to wear these garments, but something within him said that he wanted to be Mamleches Kohanim v'Goy Kadosh. And therefore, even when he learned that he was never able to be a Kohen, he continued. But what allowed him to understand himself? What brought the true desire within him out? It was the study of Torah. And this is something that Hillel knew. Hillel knew that the best within us, the holiness within us, develops and finds a way of expression when we study Torah. And if it's true of a potential convert, and it is, it's true of a natural born Jew. We all have our place within the ranks of the Mamleches Kohen and the Goy Kadosh. We have a mission, each of us our own. We say at the end of the Shemona Esrei, every single day, 3 times a day, V'sein chelkeinu b'sorosecha. Give us our portion in the Torah. Each and every Jew has a portion in the Torah, a path in the Torah through which we develop and bring out the best within us. This was so beautifully described by the great Rabbi Yosef, the Gemara Psachim, Samaches Amid Beis. Rabbi Yosef was one of the greatest Amoraim ever. Every few pages of the Talmud, we have Rabbi Yosef. He was known as Sinai. He knew the length and breadth of the Talmud by heart. Incredible recall the man had. And any question that came up, Rabbi Yosef would be able to quote page and paragraph in order to come to a resolution of the issues. And on Shavuos, Rabbi Yosef would make a big party. He said these words, Ilav Hayoma, if it wasn't for this great day, the day of Shavuos, the Kagaram that caused me to be who I am, Kama Yosef Ika B'Shuk. There'd be so many Yosefs. I'd be just like a regular Joe in the street. The fact that I'm Rav Yosef is only because of the Torah. And all the commentaries ask, that seems quite arrogant. So you achieved? So you became Sinai? Therefore, you're saying you celebrate on this day? But Rabbi Yosef wasn't being arrogant. Rabbi Yosef really wasn't talking about himself. Yosef was talking to any Jew who applies himself to Torah. Because through that application, we develop and we bring out our special qualities. So whereas without the Torah, just a regular garden variety Joe, but he became Reb Yosef. And so could all of the other Yosefs, Bashuka in the street. They would find their place within the Torah. So therefore, Shavuos is not only Zman Matan Torah Seinu of Klal Yisrael as a whole, but Shavuos is a day for us to celebrate. To the extent that we study the Torah, To the extent that we assume kihein chayenu v'orich yameinu, this is the life and the extent of our days, we find ourselves, we develop ourselves, and we could say, Ilav hayom. If it wasn't for the fact this day, I would be just an average person. But because of this wonderful day of Shavuos, I'm special. I have a special role among our people. Have a wonderful, wonderful Shavuos.